We're going to do everything we can to get fuel. And but if you have a problem, if you call the telephone number, we will get you evacuated. We will find the resources to get you evacuated. We're going to do everything we can to get everybody out. But the big thing is, you can't wait. I mean, you can't just think, whether it's fuel, whether it's traffic, whatever the issue is, the longer you wait, it's harder to provide the resources. So take this seriously. And the truth is, whichever coast you're on, because this thing can change. I can tell you, in Andrew, I had all these hospitals. I evacuated hospitals to a hospital in the southern part of the city, and Andrew changed in the last, half hour, 45 minutes. So these things can change, and just a small change can change which coast it's going down. If you look at what the National Hurricane, look at the cone has our entire state, and this thing's bigger than our entire state right now. So take this seriously. Have a plan. Listen to what the locals are telling you. So look, we're going to do everything we can to keep everybody safe, but we all have to do this together. Thanks, everybody, for all your hard work.
Are you concerned about people driving up north in all the long lines? Can they just stay in the row while the storm is coming, where the hurricane?
We're going to do everything we can to keep all the evacuation routes open. The Highway Patrol, the National Guard, FDOT, everybody is part of keeping those roads open. The first thing we'll do is, if we start seeing too much traffic, you'll be able to drive on the shoulder. We're not there yet, so we'll have that. So we're going to make sure people can get out. Yeah, and if you have a question, if you're looking, go to fl511.com, and you can look at it'll tell you on there, both through some cameras and through information, where the bottlenecks are, and then we're following that, and we're working diligently to keep them open. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, you've been listening to Florida Governor Rick Scott. Top of the hour now. Let's reset the situation. All right, the breaking news on Hurricane Irma. Floridians told, do not wait, get out. That from Governor Rick Scott just moments ago. The Bahamas just ordered the evacuation of 6 southern islands. This is a devastating storm causing historic destruction, with more on the way. The Category 5 hurricane passing the Dominican Republic and Haiti today. Tropical storm force winds spanning some 300 miles. A Red Cross official just told us that on the island of Barbuda, everything is literally decimated. Look at these pictures. In Puerto Rico, 1 million people are without power, 56,000 without water.
Irma has already killed 9 people. In Florida, the message from the governor we just heard: deadly storm surge, life-threatening winds, and we are beginning to see what could be one of the largest mass evacuations in U.S. history. 25,000 people, according to the governor, have already fled the Florida Keys. And while Irma's exact track is still unknown in terms of where it might strike the United States specifically, a significant impact is expected in the state of Florida before this hurricane may turn north to Georgia and the Carolinas. We are tracking all of Irma's developments. Let's begin in the CNN Severe Weather Center with our Chad Myers. What can you tell us, Chad?
Well, the storm is to the north of the Dominican Republic, just moving to the north of Haiti probably here in the next couple of hours, and then into some very warm water near the Bahamas, and that's why they're evacuating those Bahama Islands. And here is the latest cone. I'll get a new cone in about 55 minutes or so, but the cone still has landfall in South Florida. And this is the problem. There's still a chance that it goes on this side of the cone, probably 5% over here. There's still a 5% chance that it's on this side of the cone. But there is at least a 60% chance that we're somewhere in the middle. And the middle ends up being South Florida, Miami-Dade, and the like. Here are the computer models. We talk about them all the time. Just to the east of Miami for the American model, and the European model right over Isla Mirada. Here is how the European model and the GFS, the American model, differ. Here's what they look like now, all the way to Saturday, overnight Saturday, almost Sunday morning, coming straight into Key Largo, Ocean Reef, into Biscayne Bay. This is worst case scenario. Without a doubt, there is no such thing as a worst case scenario than this, except possibly slamming straight into Miami proper. There's the storm right there. We're going to have so much storm surge water pouring into Miami, pouring into Biscayne Bay, pouring into Fort Lauderdale and all the like. There could be 20 feet of surge. If your house is less than 20 feet above sea level, it's going to be wet. And now we change you and moving on up toward West Palm. Not a lot better for you. Still that storm onshore, pounding wind, 140 miles per hour, tearing up the entire coastline and all the houses. A 140 mile per hour storm is like an EF3 or 2.5 tornado that sits over your house for 30 or 40 minutes. So that's what you have to think about. That's how strong these winds are, plus the surge as well. Now the American model. Kind of a little bit happier here, somewhere in between the Bahamas. If we could keep it right here, not hitting the Bahamas and not truly striking the East Coast, now we would have winds of 100, but not 140, not 150. As the storm continues to the north, to the West Palm Beach area, it's not slowing down because it hasn't hit land. It's still 140. And then it makes aim somewhere near the coast of Georgia, South Carolina, or North Carolina as still a Category 4 or Category 5 hurricane. That's the rub with this storm, is that there's nothing that we can do to make it hit nothing. This is so big, we're going to get damage somewhere. Now, I just want you to notice, and I don't know if this is true or whether it's just slightly a wobble, but if you look at the last couple of frames, right there, the storm has turned to the north just a little bit. That was not in the forecast. We'll see if this is a meaningful change or just a little wobble and it goes back on its path. We'll know probably in an hour or two to see what this is really going to do, to see if it does change path a little bit, which would make all the forecast difference. About 11 o'clock, we'll know.
Chad Myers, we'll check back in with you then. Thank you so much, as always.
Unbelievable detail watching the path of that storm. Really appreciate it, Chad. All right, we want to go now to Haiti. Chad mentioned the storm right now passing the Dominican Republic in Haiti as we speak. CNN's Paula Newton is there. Paula.
Yeah, and given what Chad just said, that little move to the north, highly significant for where I'm standing right now on the northern coast of Haiti. The point is, though, guys, listen, even if this does not hit as a Category 4 or 5 because we were outside that cone, a Category 1 or 2 can absolutely devastate this place. We have started to see only in the last 24 hours, really, about the government telling people who live in homes made of, tin roofs and plywood to actually try and go to those evacuation centers. We don't know exactly how well equipped those things are. As you see this storm move off of Haiti, though, the danger here remains. Why? Because of all those very dangerous mudslides and the flooding that is unknown at this point in time. A very severe rainstorm here can wipe out homes and kill people, and that is why people here on the island are quite terrified. They have not seen this kind of impact here for several years, and they're all wondering what it will do to people who really have no way of coping in terms of evacuating anywhere where they'll have supplies or water, or in terms of dealing with the devastation that is surely to come. And just a reminder, guys, they are still trying to get over Hurricane Matthew here from last year, which struck the south of this country, killing hundreds of people.
Yeah,
John,
for those of us who have been, Paula, thank you, in Haiti and seen what their homes are made of, it is terrifying to think what this could mean for a lot of Haitians. We'll keep an eye on it. Let's go to Florida. You've got traffic building up there as many Florida residents are trying to flee Irma's path. Our Rosa Flores is in Miami Beach. Rosa, what's the latest you're hearing?
Since we last talked, Poppy, we have two new developments. First of all, Miami-Dade opening 4 more shelters. That increases the number of shelters in this county to 8. There's at least 1 pet-friendly shelter. And also the latest from American Airlines that they are winding down operations tomorrow, with operations canceling through the weekend. Of course, this is because the giant storm is heading this way and everybody heeding the warning here in South Florida. When it comes to evacuations, our friends to the south in Monroe County, more than 25,000 people there have already evacuated. They're all moving north. They're all headed this way. Here in Miami-Dade, there are new evacuations starting this morning at 7 a.m. That includes Zone A, which includes a lot of the coastal areas, includes the island that you see here to the south of me. It also includes all the barrier islands. I'm standing in one of them. This is Miami Beach. It also includes everyone that lives in a mobile home. Now, as we move further north to Broward County, folks there also heeding the warning. They are also under a mandatory evacuation. Here are the areas that are under mandatory evacuation. First of all, low-lying areas, anyone living in a mobile home and anyone living east of US 1. That includes Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood, Pompano Beach, Deerfield Beach, all of those folks also making their way out of Florida. And the only way to get out of this peninsula is to go north. You can't go east, you can't go west. That's why we're hearing from Florida Highway Patrol that they're seeing increased volume. Now, that is definitely a good sign. That means people are heeding the warning. They are leaving this area. They're heading north. They're either finding hotels or gracious family or friends that are willing to take them in and hopefully to higher, safer ground. Poppy.
Rosa Flores, thank you very, very much. One of the things that the governor did note was that you can get to safety without going all the way north out of Florida. There are places in each and every one of these counties where you can go to stay safe. Governor Rick Scott wanted that message to get out. Again, check with your local officials to find out where the shelter is if you, in fact, need one. As we said, this storm has already caused huge, historic devastation, especially on the tiny island of Barbuda. Our next guest traveled around that island with the nation's prime minister to see the damage. Joining us now is Marlon Carr. He's a photographer. He took the photos you are looking at right now. Marlon, if you can hear us, we're looking at your photos right now. Just tell us what you saw. Describe what it looked like.
It looked like a garbage disposal. Like there were rubble and roof galvanized all over the island. It looked like there was some of the houses looked like they were imploded on. So the rubble stayed in the same position the house was, but it was just flat, completely flat.
What did you hear from people on the ground there? Because we're also looking at pictures of the team that you traveled with. You were there again with the Prime Minister, who went just hours after the storm passed to survey the damage because there's been no communication, out of the island to reach you guys by telephone. What did the residents say?
Well, most of them, they were saying that the experience was like something that you saw on a movie. It was people running from house to house trying to get shelter. They saw 40-foot containers flying, cars flying, animals flying. There were some who, stayed in their home, and the house started going away piece by piece until they had to shelter in their bathroom. There was one lady that said that she had to put her 3 kids inside of a cupboard inside of the bathroom. And she up to now, she doesn't know how it happened, how she did it, but they got in there. And then right after the eye came over and the place got a little calm, she took her kids and they headed for a more secure area. It was like a total movie thing that you see on TV, but you would never think of experiencing.
As we're looking at this picture, it's hard to imagine where to begin to recover from something like this. What's your sense of what the most urgent need is as of this morning?
Well, I think the basic needs: water, medical supplies, stuff like that. I think that's what the immediate need is. But what we have decided to do here is we've decided to evacuate the island as much as we can to bring the people to the mainland, because there is no infrastructure in place down there in Barbuda for them to live a normal health life. So there's no phone, there's no communication at all, there's no electricity, there's basically no running water. So it is uninhabitable at this moment. So most likely they will be evacuating most of the people to Antigua.
Imagine that, a near total evacuation of this island, more or less completely destroyed. Marlon Carr, thank you so much for being with us, and thank you for showing the world what happened on Barbuda.
Uninhabitable, his words, and they've got another hurricane turning in the Atlantic that they're worried about. We'll keep track on that and the people of Barbuda. Meantime, in Washington right now, happening currently on Capitol Hill, Donald Trump Jr. is facing Senate Russia investigators. We'll bring you a live update. And Hurricane Irma headed toward Florida as we speak. Stay with CNN for our continuing coverage of this monster storm. We have a new forecast update coming in a few minutes. You're going to want to hear it.
When does a business trip really start? The world is yours with Platinum. backed by the service and security of American Express.
Oh, you brought Butch.
Yeah.